Okay, I see wires diverging.
This is the Marine Corps Bomb Squad. It's officially known as EOD, or Explosive Ordnance Disposal. This exclusive faction of the Marine Corps is made up of less than 800 technicians, and out of over the 200,000 Marines today, only the top 1% are even eligible to attempt to join.
I'm gonna split the HE.
As the Marine Corps faces new challenges, it finds new ways to fight, like EABO. We'll get to that in a second. What you're about to see is an experiment to operate in one of the most hostile environments on the planet, here in the Chapel of Misery, the Jungle Warfare Training Center. An unwelcoming, unforgiving, contested arena where species of all kinds fight for their survival. An environment that's truly made for Marines.
Too far outside.
I'm Sergeant Connor Paul. I'm an EOD tech with III EOD Company, 9th ESB. I was born in Seattle, Washington, or just north of, in a town called Bothell. I spent pretty much most of my life there. My initial plan and everything that my schooling was geared towards, I wanted to be an accountant. I heard accountants make the best business owners. So I wanted to be a business owner because I don't like being told what to do. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna put myself in a position where that'll never happen. And look at me now. Yeah, it happened, yeah.
Upon arrival, they cleared the village for explosive booby traps.
Hey, Bobby, I don't see anything that concerns me. I'm gonna go ahead and go on in.
It's a possible scenario where an enemy abandoned a former position. And early the next morning, we're already responding to calls or scenarios with possible explosive threats.
EOD's different than other MOSs or job fields in the Marine Corps just because we work in 2- or 3-man teams, and it's NCO and above only, so if you're a sergeant, like, that's the lowest rank.
See that Humvee back there?
Yeah.
Bunch of guys at least right there.
Okay, cool.
And then do you guys have a security pause in that direction?
Not yet.
So I did wrestling, basketball, and football during high school. I think as far as like the wrestling side, that definitely translates. It's a lot of work and a lot of reps, just to, like, thousands of hours spent just to make one aspect of the entire, like, your takedown better. You do that 1,000 times just to make it slightly more efficient. EOD is kind of very similar to that. We do training and everything as a team, but when it's like you're going down on a problem, that's just you and usually your team leader or team member. We took a thermite and we placed it on top of the warhead section, or what we think to be the warhead section, and our goal is to melt it, basically to melt the HE, and that the explosive part that's like a hazard to us. So our plan was we'll melt all of that and then we'll make it safe to move it, because after we get rid of that, it's just trash. There's no reason for it to be that big. Big bug, dude.
Hold up, it's not that simple. In order to understand why we're out in the jungle, we have to understand the future of Marine Corps warfare. Force design, specifically Expeditionary Advanced Base Operations, EABO. Basically, EABO is to divide and conquer. Instead of establishing a central base, we scatter and operate in smaller, more mobile units from a series of austere, temporary locations while maintaining a low signature within a contested maritime area in order to conduct sea denial, support sea control, or enable fleet sustainment. Being able to survive off very little supplies and move at a moment's notice if discovered. And that brings us here.
My name is Staff Sergeant Michael Siegel. I'm an explosive ordnance disposal technician with III EOD Company, 9th Engineer Support Battalion.
The one below it looks like it's smooth on the top with a red band. Okay.
So for us Jungle Crab, we're coming out here, we're advancing our actual EOD skills as well as our survival skills as a whole, and trying to merge the two together.
I'm gonna snip the line.
EABO is Expeditionary Advanced Base Operations. Essentially, we don't have a full picture of it yet, but we're trying to figure that out. We're doing different operations, going out, doing training, and trying to see where we really fit in. In the future, we don't know what type of mission set we could get. On a regular basis, we train in pretty fair weather. Out here, we start getting into the more extreme elements and see how people work under pressure. Yeah, so situations like this out in the jungle, we're anticipating having like limited logistics and how we would operate, say, if we have certain things are interrupted in our usual way of operation, if we can still operate given those challenges going forward.
I haven't gotten that far, but it looks like it's a dual switch. Looks like I might be digging up a battery here, maybe a cap wire. And if we're really trying to save this road, which we are, it's just gonna pop that.
You're in the elements the entire time. You're dealing with challenges that aren't just the problem itself, but you also have external stressors and movement to the objective and movement back and things like that.
I'm gonna start picking leaves off the top of this thing. So let on-scene know that there's a potential for a high order right now, okay?
This is a high order, the full explosive yield of the ordnance.
At the first times, the nerves can definitely be a little high, but once you realize that you know what you're doing, and it obviously hasn't exploded yet, it probably just won't randomly go up for no reason. It's just like a game of operation in most cases. And yeah, once you're in the driver's seat, it's pretty straightforward. You know what you're doing.
The PGs together, right next to each other, crush the cone of both of them. Initiate from the center of a block. That way it goes out, crushes the cones to the HE.
Sit into it. You don't have to like climb up too high or anything. So like the only big thing is you want to make sure they're both parallel.
Our platoon and team specifically are super close. We spend so much time together and we do so many things together that we push ourselves to be better and strive to be as good as the other person. People see us and they tend to think that we might be kind of lax, but when it's time to actually work, I don't think anybody works harder. We're always in shape, we're always ready, and we're always there when anyone needs us.
See you there, my brother in Christ. I'm gonna start figuring out if I can just remove this explosive.
Okay. And hearing the stories from even like my seniors about like dudes that they've helped out years later that will always remember it just because they got their lives saved by an EOD technician. So I mean, you know, as far as like you can't have a greater impact than to like do that and to save someone's life.
I've been sitting down a really long time.
Yep, you're all set now though.
If someone came up to me and they said they were thinking about coming to EOD, when I was a younger Marine, I was dead set on getting out. I was pretty much done with the Marine Corps. I was kind of disenchanted with it. I came over and screened for EOD and met some of the people that work here, and I fully believe it's the best job in the world. I'm gonna stay here and finish my career here, and I wouldn't want to do anything else.
Marines have to be ready at all times to fight at a moment's notice, to fight now. In a new era of fighting, with new frontiers, we find new ways of facing new threats.